Hello and welcome to another episode of MK Rants, a podcast where I, your host MK, take you on a magical journey through anime, comics on occasion, and mainly cartoons. I love old movies. I know I just said that I love cartoons and stuff and anime, but I love movies from the 80s and 90s. So today we're just going to talk about a couple of my favorites that I have seen. I don't have any notes to look at, so we're just going to do this freestyle and see how long I can go. So, to start off, recently I've watched Indiana Jones. I've seen two movies, right? The first two movies in this very long franchise, and all I have to say is they are longer than they should be, because the appeal to me of Indiana Jones is he's an explorer, he's an adventurer. However, these movies feel like they're 2 hours, because they are 2 hours. But to me that's a disadvantage, as well. I don't want to feel like I wasted 2 hours of my life on a movie. You can especially tell this in the second film, the Temple of Doom or whatever, I don't remember, but there were scenes that I think could have been cut in half. There were times where I think this movie could have been wrapped up perfectly with a little bow, don't need to keep going, but it kept going. And that is not fun at all. It is very exhausting. Oh my gosh. It's exhausting, and considering I've watched two films, for me, a drawback of a movie is when you feel like it's been 2 hours. Or even longer than that. I feel the same way about Lord of the Rings. I tried watching the first movie because my dad loves those movies, but I could not stand it. I thought it was extremely long and very boring. However, I do really love The Princess Bride. Okay, now let me explain. I'm not the biggest fan of Disney movies. However, The Princess Bride I don't think was actually produced by Disney, and it is amazing. It's based off of a novel by, I don't know who, so we're gonna just do that right now. Who wrote The Princess Bride? William Goldman, who died at the age of 87, was beloved for his classic fantasy novel, The Princess Bride. Okay, it was The Princess. Okay, so it was William Goldman, everyone. And honestly, the movie was made in 87, and it is amazing. It's practical. I think the costuming is great. The acting is actually pretty good, and I think the story as a whole produced some lovable and iconic characters that just live on. As You Wish is probably one of the most iconic lines of the film, and I think that I need to use it more in my daily life. I also would like to quote inconceivable as much as possible, and I have yet to find a way to do that. I don't think it's a commonly used word, but I wish it was. I think if the whole world just made a reference, that'd be great. Every time they used it, I think more people should watch it. I watched it with my friend because I had seen the movie many times up to this point, but however, my friend hadn't seen it at the time, and they liked it. However, they were falling asleep because of the chair they were sitting in. They know who they are. Yay. Next I want to talk about Jurassic Park. Oh boy, the first film I think is great. I loved it. The second and third movies, they were okay too. Not my favorites, but they were okay. And then came Jurassic World. And this is when I think that they kind of ended up wringing the franchise dry. And they still made a new movie. Have I seen that new movie? No. Will I at some point? Yes. Probably over Thanksgiving. Because it's a family tradition to watch all of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies in chronological order, mind you. So yay! That's totally not gonna break our sanity. But honestly though, I think the first movie is great. I read some of the book in Spanish, as I can speak Spanish, Was the book good? I didn't finish it, but did I like it? Honestly, yes. And, but, oh my gosh, I think the first movie did what it was supposed to do. It made its message clear. I liked the characters, and honestly, I think that it got to its point. Don't mess with nature, because it'll kill you, basically, is kind of what it boils down to. There's a reason why things happen, and I think a lot of it was really good. Again, I like the costuming, and something that I also really liked about this film was that the children feel like children, and the adults feel like adults. Because that line can get blurred, I think, in modern media. Teenagers get played by, like, 20-year-olds, so it's refreshing to see, like, actual children played by children and feel like they were well written, because that doesn't happen as often anymore, and it's honestly kind of sad. I would expect people to know how to write children or teenagers, but that's not the case, because, you know, casting and stuff. But I felt like the adults in this movie also, their main goal was, along with surviving the dinosaurs and getting back to the island to fly, like, getting through the island, was also the ability to be, like, protecting the children. I think that's wonderful, and it's beautiful, and I think that that should be something that you see more now in, like, movies and TV shows, because, like, either the children are just there for plot devices, or they're actually just actors trying to play teenagers. I don't know anymore, and I think like as a whole, this movie was also just really good. It's a classic that a lot of people have and hold fondness for. I myself hold fondness for it, considering I only watched it like a year ago. But I still think that Jurassic World, I don't think really worked per se. Like, there were reasons for certain things, but it went haywire very quickly, and not in a good way. I think what the movies tried to do was replicate Jurassic Park, because that movie did kind of start a franchise. Not gonna lie, it may or may not have started a franchise, but what Jurassic World tried to do is it tried to take that good formula and turn it into something that it's not. And the one thing that also I think helped Jurassic Park was that this all happened before the park was even opened, which was good because it saved everyone from dying, because I swear those dinosaurs kill people. I'm not joking. I feel like it just happened. Also, they made a new dinosaur species. Like, okay, hear me out. You can't just do that. Like, I understand that genetic, like, experimentation is a thing, but I think there's a point where you have to, like, stop, because it's gonna lead to something bad. Like, the freaking dinosaur is just the worst. Like, it is so evil, and they gave it all these genetic traits so that it could possibly be, like, this new threat or something. Also, I kind of hated how they let all the dinosaurs out into the world. Like, I get, child, you're a clone, and that they're all clones too, but it's exhausting, and I don't think you should have, because the ecosystem is destroyed now. Congratulations. Like, I really, like, if we were in that era of, like, I don't remember what they called it. I don't know what Dr. Ian Malcolm called it, or I think it was like Jurassic Era Part 2 or something. I don't remember. But, like, imagine if we were living in that, and they ate everything. Like, they ate all the cattle, all the poultry, all the fish. Like, what are we gonna eat? Like, I know, like, modern technology could probably take out a dinosaur, but I don't think it's worth the risk. Especially because, like, you know how, like, the military, like, the world military and, like, superhero cartoons, like, with alien threats are, like, not good at it? I don't think, like, do you think a missile could take out a dinosaur? Like, I don't know if that could be possible. And, like, to be able to get to the point where we as a species could consume like dinosaurs and like farm raise them like cattle and poultry would take like decades at that point, because like we've like this girl, like the girl messed up everything so badly. It's so bad. Like why would you destroy the ecosystem like that? Also, what makes you confident that the dinosaurs could survive? Like, our Earth changed so much comparatively to like when the dinosaurs actually existed, right? Like you have to like think about these things before releasing them, because like you just end up in this cycle of, wait, people are dying because dinosaurs are eating them. Did you not like watch like the second Jurassic Park movie? It might have been the third, I don't remember, but it wasn't like the T-Rex. Like, do you not think that a T-Rex would be afraid to gobble up a human? I don't think so, quite frankly. I think it would very well do that. And did you not learn anything from the first movie? Like the lady who ran everything, like, did you not look back at like your predecessors? Did you not see what they did? Like, your predecessors, my friend. Like, what? Like, what on earth? What these movies do, though, is bad romance. Like, the first Jurassic Park, right? You think that the two people, I forget their names, are gonna get married. They're having a blast being archaeologists and discovering things. But by, like, the second or third movie, when you see them again, the lady is married to a completely different man. Like, I get traumatic events can pull people apart, but this is one of those experiences where I think that it would bring them a little bit closer in a weird way, because, like, you just escaped getting consumed by dinosaurs. What on earth are you doing? And, like, I get that you could have PTSD, but I think, like, I think as people, like, you would be even more, like, compatible for each other, because you could understand each other's trauma, each other's uncertainty about everything. Like, you could understand that this might end up being very badly. Like, this could end up very bad, but, like, you're together, and, like, you could have a happy life, and, like, I kind of hated that. But then you get to Jurassic World, where they kind of do the same thing. It was worse, in my opinion. And then, second, third movie, they're, like, broken up, but then back together again, but then broken up again, but then back together. Like, I don't care at this point. Like, I thought the clone child was a good thing, and I thought that they were going to become your adoptive child. I sure thought it was that, but no. Y'all are, like, bouncing around. Will they, won't they? It's worse than Superboy and Miss Martian's, like, romance. I'm sorry. I can't get over it. Like, you have had several decades to make your romance better. Like, do you just, like, what on earth is wrong with the, I don't get it, okay? It's confusing, because, like, it could have been so good, but then, like, they made it so bad, and, like, as a fan of the franchise, you really gotta wonder if they can write a good romance, like, the writers and the screenplay people. Like, honestly, at this point, I would be afraid if they could. I think, again, like, because they drew out this franchise so long, they tried to turn back to older formula to see if they could make it work again. Like, I think, like, I haven't checked, like, the box office, like, gaining, but, like, especially as the budgets for these movies got bigger and bigger and bigger, you think they'd be able to write a good, like, romance. But no, they couldn't hire a good writer. They could hire little special effects artists, but they couldn't hire a better writer. And I think that definitely is something that I think if you have to sacrifice the effects a smidge so that you could have a better, like, if you have to, like, sacrifice a part of that budget, I think it would definitely be towards a writer who knows what they're doing and is kind of experienced, and maybe even, like, several writers who know what's going on and, like, who are actually fans of the original movie and, like, can critique the franchise in a good way. And, like, can be like, this is what works, this is what doesn't, let's make a good movie, and we're gonna end the franchise here. I really hope this movie, like, the new movie is, like, the last movie in the entire, like, series or franchise or whatever it is at this point. Is Jurassic World a separate franchise from the Jurassic Park films? Honestly, I don't think we should do that. I think that's a very bad idea. I have nothing more to say. I love Jurassic Park, and I think that the first movie from like the 80s, I think, is the best movie. Okay, so next we have, hold on, I forget the movie. Shoot. I forgot the movie I was gonna talk about. Oh no. Dang it. This is why I have to write notes on occasion, because I forget what I'm gonna talk about. There was another movie I had in the back of my head that I was gonna talk about, but I don't remember the movie I was gonna talk about, and it's bugging me because I don't remember it. Dang it, I'm angry now. I don't remember. Dang it, that's why I can't go off on rants too long. That's why you can't let me explode too long, because like that's just gonna lead to a whole bunch of problems. Let's talk about movies I haven't seen but have heard good things about. The one that's coming to mind is like The Dark Crystal by Jim Henson, who is the creator of the Muppets. The freaking Muppets. I've never watched any of the Muppet movies, nor have I consumed any part of the franchise. But I really kind of want to watch The Dark Crystal, because I've heard mixed reviews about it, and I've heard it spans comic books, TV shows, because there's a lot of lore that isn't explained like the first movie, which is fair. Oh, Jumanji, I was going to talk about Jumanji, the original Jumanji. So, I love how you can tell Jumanji isn't meant to be like the best thing on planet Earth. Like, you can tell, like, it's a good film. It's one of my personal favorite movies, mind you, but like, oh my gosh, and you can tell that, like, you can date it because at this point in like CGI isn't as good as it's gonna get in a couple years. Like, the monkeys look a little wonky in like the movie, and like I think the lion is actually puppetry, or like a big puppet, and like you can tell this film is like the CGI at the very least is outdated beyond all heck. But is it still wonderful? Yes, because what I think the sequel fails to capture is Jumanji. Okay, hear me out. So the magic of Jumanji is that the board game comes to life. Now, what I get in the sequel is that it's like the 90s, right? The early 90s, like the early late 90s or whatever. Video games are starting to become a thing. Maybe even like the late 90s. I don't even know, like the Okay, so I think I get that they're trying to update it to make it more modern. I understand that this is a new age, right? Children of today don't play video games. They don't play board games. They play video games, right? So, in trying to capture Jumanji again, I don't think that they did the best at it, because, well, yes, the graphics are phenomenal, and the story by far is what people would say is comparatively better to the original. Personally, I think that there's just something really wonderful about the board game coming to life and like becoming this dangerous thing, and like, I'm leaning back in my chair, I need to stretch. Oh my gosh. And becoming this thing, and like all of it's just like reversed, and like once the game is ended. But in something that the video game, I think, like, when you're put into the game, I don't think it has the same appeal or the same effect as, oh my gosh, the game is coming to life and is trying to eat us. Right? Like, what they did do well, though, what I think that this film was trying to do, it was trying to show us what Alex, like, Hirsch or whatever, was kind of, like, experiencing. Because with the Jonas brother, I think it was, like, Nick Jonas or whatever, he was, like, the pilot. He was, oh my god, he was living in the hut that Alex, his name was Alex, right, where Alex was living. Oh, his name was Parrish. Where Alan, it was Alan Parrish. There we go. Where Alan Parrish was living and seeing and experiencing, and it's very surreal, I guess, especially because it has been so long since the first film had come out. Okay, hold on. We're gonna a quick Google search. How many years passed in between Jumanji movie. Jumanji movies. 1986? Is that 1986? I'm Googling. I'm in the Wikipedia now. This is what I get. Okay, so if the first movie, how much time since how many years passed between the production of the Jumanji movies? This doesn't explain anything. Don't. So, how many years ago was Jumanji made? The franchise includes 4 films. Jumanji 1995, Space Adventure. I don't care about that. Okay, so how many years between 1995? How many years between 1995, it said, right? Yeah, 1995 to 2017. Give me a solid number. Okay, it's been 22 years, right? At the time of the movie, like, coming out, like, the next level, it has been 22 years. Which isn't a bad thing, but it does kind of beg us the question, was it really the best thing to continue this franchise, right? And, like, I get that they were trying to kind of show what Alan, like, Parrish was living through being in the game for, like, what? The 20 plus years he spent there? And it is so surreal seeing that cameo, because you're like, this is the world he lived in before Judy, and I forget her name, played the game again and, like, brought him out, and we can see the trauma in the girl's face after seeing Alan again, after seeing, like, the Parrish, like, after seeing Alan again in, like, several, like, decades, probably, because, like, it's so traumatic, as it's a traumatic experience to just see your friend get sucked in a board game. But, and, like, what this version, like, what the next level lacked, in my opinion, was it lacked the feeling of Jumanji. Like, yeah, it's set and it calls itself Jumanji, and, like, I understand, but, like, trying to bring it in to a more modern era doesn't help. Another nitpick I have is with the continuity. When coming from the first game, right, it was 2 separate generations of people. So Judy and the other girl's name were children, but they don't remember it when they meet Alan and Martha. I think her name was Martha. Years later, they don't remember it because it never happened. History was sort of altered because the game never happened. And Alan Pierce was sent back to his time again. He was sent back with the lady. They were sent back to their own time before the game ever happened, because that's kind of how the game works. You reset it, then they got rid of the game. But the teenagers still remember the game and remember everything. That doesn't make sense to me. Why do they remember? They're not supposed to remember. It's the people who entered the game before them that are supposed to remember. It doesn't make sense to me, especially because like they meet later and it's this bonding moment and it's this weird thing of what on earth? Why did the teenagers remember what happened? I don't understand if the game did it or if it's a conspiracy theory, but it doesn't make sense to me, and it still eats at my brain in this like very specific tiny corner. It's like, but why though? Because like it doesn't sit right with me as a Jumanji fan. It just doesn't sit right with me because like, well, yeah, you had The Rock and Nick Jonas and some other people, but like, and Jack Black and like Kevin Hart, but you don't have Jumanji. You have Jurassic World at that point, but with the Jumanji franchise. And then they made another movie that I don't even remember if I ever watched or anything. Because, like, to me, I don't understand it. It's Jurassic World, but with a Jumanji coat of paint on it. And it doesn't sit well with me because there's like a blatant continuity error that like even if you don't catch it, like even if you like have and like the only reason I caught it was because I watched the films back to back. So like all things considering, I don't even know if the people like watched the first movie, because like if there was that blatant of an error in it, then like there's a problem, right? And at this point, if like the comments are gonna be like, oh, but they destroyed the board, I would have just preferred it if it was like this was the end of the franchise. Jumanji, like the game or whatever, like if it was like the game just like vanished. And they were all like, yeah, it was a good game. Like, they kind of, they have fuzzy memories of it because, like, it was a 2-hour thing in a basement when they were moving staples. I don't do things to detention. But I still feel like the game should just, should just disappeared out of existence without a trace. And then only to go be back on the beach or back in, like, a different area. I know that at the time, or, you know what we could do? The game should be with the dude, like the dude Nick Jonas played back in his room, because he was the original one who started the game, right? So I think that because he was the original, I guess, owner of the game, it should go back to there. So then when the kids like are back in the room, or like back in the like basement or whatever of the school doing the staple removing thing, the cartridge is completely different in the game. So like, oh, that was a fun game. They don't remember it, but they know it was a fun game. It wasn't actually Jumanji. So then the kid who got sucked into the game in like the 80s or whatever can like take the game and like actually destroy it. To me, I think one, would that save the continuity of these movies, but two, it would also pay homage to the original. I don't understand why did they mess it up. How did they mess it up so badly? Did the writers do this on purpose? Did they genuinely didn't, or did they genuinely not know? I guess we'll never know. But you know, and coming from like a perspective of I love the original Jumanji. Like I cannot settle with the fact that why did they have to go and ruin it? I don't understand. Like, they had to mess up the continuity so badly. And I understand, like, it sounds like petty complaints because I'm, like, critiquing a movie that came out in, like, 2017. But, like, I don't understand, and I get it was trying to hit the nostalgia bone for some of the original fans of the franchise, or some of the gamers, or, like, some of the gaming fandom. But I don't think it succeeded in any of those notes, right? I don't think that it really succeeded. Like, it was good, but I don't think the ending was the best, personally, right? Also just felt like they were kind of trying to play off, like I said, they were trying to play off a formula that worked once, but they tried to modernize it. That's what the Jurassic World movies did. They try to modernize a formula that kind of doesn't work anymore because of the because of the time periods that the movies were made. They're different. You can't really take the same story formats, especially in movies. Like, people are gonna get tired of the same thing over and over. Yet Jurassic Park still makes millions. You know who produced the Jumanji movies? Because I know, like, Lucasfilm produced, like, Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Who? The original Jumanji. No, what studio produced? I think is better. What studio? What studio produced? Okay. Terrestrial Pictures Interscope Communications. Okay, so it wasn't actually Lucasfilms, because honestly, I think at that point, if it was produced by Lucasfilms, it would be like, oh, it was Disney milking the franchise. Then who produced? What studio produced the Jurassic Park? The Jurassic Park / World movies. They weren't produced by, like, Lucasfilm Studios either, so I don't understand. It's so confusing to me. Like, why do they have very similar problems if I don't think that it doesn't make sense to me? And who produced The Dark Crystal? Crystal. Ooh. It was probably like Henson Studios or something. It was ITC Entertainment Henson Associate. Oh, okay. So it was produced by ITC Entertainment, but I think they're associated with the Henson Studios. I don't know anymore. I'm so confused. Henson Associates. We're going to the Google deep dive now, children. Children are. Did it copy paste? No. Truly. Associates. Yes, scroll for me. Yeah, it's just the Jim Henson Company. It's an entertainment company. It says the Jim Henson Company is an American entertainment company located in Los Angeles, California. Really? The company is known for its innovations in the field of puppetry, particularly through the creation of Kermit the Frog and the Muppets characters. Brian Henson serves as chairman, while Lisa Henson serves as CEO. Oh, that is very interesting. It's founded in It was founded in November 20th, 1958 in New York. Dang. It has a parent organization, Constantin Median? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, and it's I don't know how to pronounce that, or Jim Henson's Creature Shop, Jim Henson Pictures. That's really fascinating. What an adventure I've gone on today. But, moral of the story, I don't like Jurassic World as much. I think Jumanji The Next Level was lacking, and I really want to check, and I really love the original, The Princess Bride. I really love the original Jumanji, The Princess Bride, and I would love to watch The Dark Crystal if I can find it. I don't know if I can. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope next time we meet through voice or through YouTube, I will have something anime related. I really want to work on a rewriting Black Clover thing as a rewriting Black Clover sort of video. I know I keep promising Psyche K. It's probably not gonna happen. I know. I'm sorry. I've been lying to you all. And then I also kind of want to do a Young Justice kind of like close-up video as the series has ended, and I thought it was really good. So those should probably be my next few things. Of course, I have some other stuff here like Komi Can't Communicate, Toradora, Madoka Magica, Komi Can't Communicate, like I said, and then, of course, the other stuff here. But let me know if you guys like anything in particular, any animes I should watch or review. I know currently I am watching a lot of the DC, I'm also watching currently a lot of the shows that Paul Dini helped co-write and like kind of create. I'm watching Justice League or rewatching Justice League. I'm also currently watching Batman the Animated Series. So let me know if you want anything. I'm also rewatching Inuyasha. So thank you all so much again for listening, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.